Hello everyone, welcome back to another movie review, and today we just came out of the theater and watched Ballerina from the world of John Wick. And boy was this crazy. And I mean crazy. What was the director? Len Wiseman is the same director who basically did the other John Wick franchise, and he's finally here with another project, which instead of John Wick, but a ballerina, basically a female version of John Wick, who is taking the lead this time around. And I forgot the actress name already. What was her name? Anna de Armas. That's her.
Anna de Armas.
Yeah, I know. I can't pronounce that name, but she is basically Eve. So you see them as the ballerina from the family, correct? Of John Wick.
Yeah, where he was raised.
Yeah, where he was raised and basically trained, and basically that's where he was doing all his John Wick contracts, part of the big universe of John Wick, what they're trying to build, which is pretty good. And obviously we're big fans of John Wick here, right, boy?
Yeah, I really
yeah, we loved every single one of them. I know we didn't review them, but at least we're finally coming into one of them. But either way, let us go right into it. Boy, what do you think of this film?
You know, I mean, if it's what you expect from a John Wick film, it definitely did feel like a John Wick film. Obviously they showed John Wick in the trailers and stuff like that, and to see that he would be like shown or be like somewhat a part of this film. I'm not sure if they did that just for the sake of being worried, like, oh, I don't know if like this one person could be carried or stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously it helps with marketing. It's Keanu Reeves, John Wick, those movies made bank.
And, oh yeah, of course.
I mean, granted, it's not just his character and stuff like that, but it's like the way the movie is shot. I actually like the creative kills and all the work that they put into the stunts. I think are really, really cool. There's one particular scene I really liked in the film too, but which is pretty early on in the film, which I think you notice that some of the John Wick movies will cut out to it and then show it, which we'll talk about it in like a little
bit later.
Yeah, like it's pretty early on anyways. But sticking to the movie and the story, I mean, it was pretty much the same cookie kind of cutter story wise, but it kind of doesn't matter when you're watching.
We can talk about the story.
Well, the story follows Ballerina. I think her name is Eve.
Yeah.
In this film, she does gonna be a character that's coming for revenge, similar to John Wick's story. Mm. Hers is different. Hers involves her father. Now, which a vengeance story. I assume anyone could guess what happens. But anyways, we get her intro and her origins of when she was young, which is something we don't get with John Wick. Mm. So this is like from the ground up. They have a new lead for this film, a younger person that probably could potentially make five, 6 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. And having the youth in the side, because John Wick, Keanu Reeves loves these films. However, he said himself his knees are starting to give out, so it's starting to hurt him.
Nuh-uh. He got to replace it with robotics. I don't care. He's still got a couple years in him. If you see, what was his name? Tom Cruise doing those crazy stuff in his freaking 70s, Keanu Reeves could do it too.
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves is pretty tall too.
He looks good. He looks good. I don't know how they do it. They're good.
They got the money for the people to take care of them. That's why.
I've seen other actors the same age. They're crumbling. They really are.
Because they don't care. Leave Russell Crowe alone, bro. Chill.
Russell Crowe? I didn't say anything about Russell Crowe here. So, yes, absolutely. This is basically a revenge story, and it is basically, if you kind of look similar to the first John Wick, it's about a dog, revenge. Yeah. But this time, it's more of a father. It's more of a him or her trying to take revenge as well.
But giving this, talking about this film, and I think it was the perfect length. I enjoyed the shots of this film, how it was shot. I love some of these kills. They're creative. The sound, of course, we saw in Dolby, so that really did help the sound. And a couple of the camera work, I actually was impressed again, which I noticed in the last John Wick they did, that they were doing a lot of like camera work now. Like
Yeah, exactly.
they're definitely showing their creative aspect side of things. I really fairly enjoyed this movie. What about you?
Yeah, I definitely do enjoy this film. I recommend people, if you're a fan of John Wick, go see this.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you this up front. This is not, even though it's John Wick, the film, don't expect it to be exactly like John Wick. Like what I'm saying, like she won't be, like she has flaws here.
Which
I love. Don't get me wrong. I
love that too.
Yeah, but there is a but. And there is a but. And I'm hoping that you'll agree with me.
Okay,
because I never seen like this, like the biggest, I'll say it right here. I wanted to save it, but it's like the biggest plot armor I seen.
No, it's no Mortal Kombat plot armor.
Well, of course not. I'm not saying like that thick. Like his whole stuff was legitimately a plot armor.
I mean,
I'm saying like I was starting to count them. How much times there were saves? I was shocked how much saves there were. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with saves here and there.
Yeah.
But when there are so many that it just kind of blew my immersion a little bit towards kind of almost the end of the act. And we'll talk more about that in spoilers, what I mean.
Well, you could say that, you could argue with that also in one of the John Wick films too.
But it's not noticeable enough.
It was pretty noticeable.
Which one?
It's the glass house fight.
The glass house fight?
Yeah, in that film. Yeah. That I believe that's the.
But you kind of notice it because they're fans of John Wick and they just want to have like they just want to fight with them. That is fine with me because I'm just like
no, but even the villain in the end is the same thing.
I think it was more like a respect kind of thing, and that's what I'm fine with.
No.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Not like there is some here that I kind of was like, oh, all right, you're kind of losing me here, but at least you brought me back. No,
I didn't have a problem with it. It was like I already know
it's fine.
No, because the other movies, the other John Wick movies did it, so I think it's fine. They did it with John Wick literally in the first one, where William Dafoe saves him, and then it happens again in the second and then third. So, I mean, it's like, okay.
All right, well, yeah, I guess. See, there is some things like that, but after this part, I still kind of think there was more saves here than I ever seen in a while for John Wick. That didn't blow my immersion off. This one definitely did, for sure. I know we'll go right into it, and I'll explain which ones, because I really were counting on it, and I was like, Jesus, there's so much. But I understand why they did it, though, because it's not like she is, like, you know, unstoppable, and I like that part where she's basically, you know, like, soft, and basically she needs to find different ways of defeating their enemy like that.
For real.
And I really enjoyed it, especially the creativity of kills.
Yeah.
That's like the best part for me. But either way, let's go to final verdicts and just go right straight into it.
I actually really enjoyed this film. I thought I wasn't gonna think anything crazy about this film. I was like,
yeah, I wasn't. To be honest, I was not ready.
I was expecting like a C film. Honestly, I thought it was gonna have like some cool creative stuff and stuff like that. But no. I actually fairly enjoyed this film. I think I'm gonna give this film at least a B+.
Yeah,
good time for me at least.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same there. I'm actually there with the B+ as well. I love this movie. I do enjoy it very much, even though there is some things that I do think that kind of went off a little bit. Like, let's just say in the armory as well. And there's some people in the background too who are kind of laughing because there's no way she would have survived that, but she did.
Okay.
And that's what basically was kind of like, okay, I'm seeing what's going on here. But it doesn't completely destroy everything, not until the very end. The final act is where I have the problem. I think the story with like an unknown characters coming in, like Norman Reedus.
Okay, I will agree with that.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what? You were here?
I didn't know he was going to be in now, but like,
and there was some problems with this character a little bit towards the end. And I'm just like, okay. And John Wick, I don't see him out of place here. I do like him, but I wish they saved him until the very end, though.
Yeah, it was fine. They did.
It just they were trying to tell like a story and what he was doing and what was going on.
Yeah, they had to like filter in what was happening and stuff like that during the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm also having trouble kind of remembering, so I need to.
Yeah, exactly. We'll try to figure that out for sure, but. Either way, yeah, this definitely is one of the films that you should go out and see. Everybody, I think, loves this. There is going to be some problems here and there, but I don't think it takes away from the immersion from the world of John Wick. To be honest, I'm excited for a second one.
For this, yes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, there's no way I can't just go like, like some other films like I don't care about. Like,
yeah.
Do you want a second one of this? I'm like, no, not really.
Yeah, and where like they leave it open. This
film,
one, no.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
I'm ready to jump right back into John Wick's world. I don't care who it is.
I could say they still have it. They
they do.
got it.
And the action scene is superb. That's the best thing about John Wick.
Of course,
Yeah.
that's what it is. Yeah, that's for sure. And there's a lot there's a lot of fun in this film. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy.
Like after our theater it was packed pretty much.
Yeah, it was packed.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I'm happy it was packed.
Yeah.
It's a good movies like this. Like they spent all that money for this, and I think it has a payoff.
And I'm glad that we get to see these kind of films again and just share our thoughts about this, because it's really what's really pretty good for these type of films. Yeah. So either way, that's it. We're going to go right straight into spoilers and spoil the hell out of this film. But if you guys would like to see it first, I recommend you guys do, because this is a proof of a B+ for us.
Yeah.
One of the best films of the year.
Yeah, you could find out why it's a B+ in our spoilers.
Yeah, exactly. So either way, thank you guys for listening. We will see you guys the next movie review. Later, guys.
Later.